Hey there, my friend. It's Al in Stafford. It's really good to connect with you. We've got a question for you today. Do you ever feel like you're moving through a thick fog? And I'm not talking about a physical fog outside. I'm talking mental fog. For example, you sit down to work and you just stare. You read the same email 3 or 4 times. You walk into a room and completely forget why you're even there. I know, I do that all the time. See, we call this brain fog, and we usually blame ourselves for it. We think, I'm lazy, or I'm just not smart enough, or I can never remember anything. But what if I told you that brain fog, well, it's not a personal failing. It's actually an energy crisis. See, from my perspective as a certified neuroscience coach, it's a critical signal your brain is sending you. And what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to read it. The problem is, my friend, that we live in a world that never stops demanding our attention. It's basically a dizzying daily flood of information, and it's exhausting our brains. And who should know other than me? See, before I became a certified neuroscience coach, I spent 30 years in the trenches of marketing. My job was to use language and psychology to craft messages that made people reach for their wallets. Yep, spend money. I know these tricks because I use them. I spent decades learning exactly which words light up the brain's yes circuits and which ones trigger the trust me response. So when I tell you that this dizzying daily flood of information is overwhelming you, it's not an accident, my friend. It's by design. You see, we see these persuasion techniques everywhere, from political campaigns and media narratives to the marketing messages I used to write, and sometimes even in the arguments we have with our own families. It's all engineered to capture your attention and drain your energy, leaving you in that so-called fog. See, the real conflict then is that we're treating the symptom, which is the fog, instead of the cause. We try to push through with more caffeine or maybe sugar. But the problem isn't just your motivation, it's that your brain's energy is being actively stolen. But here's the good news. The same neuroscience that explains how they do it also gives us the tools to fight back. Here's the simple scientific truth. You see, your brain, which is only 2% of your body weight, consumes a massive 20% of your body's total energy. It's an incredibly expensive organ to run, very expensive. Brain fog is simply what happens when the energy demand from your life, stress, decisions, and all that engineered information becomes greater than the energy supply itself, the fuel, the rest, and the recovery. Your brain hits the dimmer switch, so to speak, to conserve that power. You see, my friend, I learned this the hard way late in my marketing career. I was running a massive product launch for a company, pulling 20 hours a day for a solid week and a half. I was living on coffee, pure black caffeine, Sour Patch Kids, which was my favorite at the time, and yes, stale donuts from the conference room that had been left there a few days earlier after a meeting. You see, I sat down to write the final client presentation, the big one, so to speak, and I just couldn't. I stared at the blank slide and my mind was just static mush. I couldn't form a sentence. I basically thought my brain was breaking. I thought I was burning out for good. This was the end of me. But let me tell you, my brain wasn't broken. It was just empty. My aha moment wasn't that I needed to try harder. It was that I needed to refuel smarter. So let's promise ourselves something. Let's stop blaming ourselves and start managing our brain's energy budget. Let's reclaim our minds, okay? So I'm going to give you 4 practical strategies to clear the fog. First, go on a decision diet. See, your brain runs energy for every decision it makes, from what to wear to a major work project. This is basically decision fatigue, and it's one of the primary drains on your mental battery. The fix here is to automate non-essential decisions. This is why you see people like Mark Zuckerberg wearing the same thing every day. It's not about a fashion statement, it's about preserving high-quality mental energy for what truly matters, as opposed to deciding what you're going to wear in the morning. I do this every night. I basically lay out my clothes and pack my bag for the next day. It takes just maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops, but what it does is it saves me 100 micro decisions the next morning. So basically, I can use that precious energy for creative work. Second, feed your brain stable fuel, not spiky fuel. So your brain runs on glucose, which is sugar. But the type of sugar matters. You see, a candy bar or a sugary drink, well, that gives you a 30-minute spike, followed by a hard crash. That's basically the 2 p.m. fog you feel, or 3 p.m. or whatever time in the afternoon you feel that fog coming on. The fix here is stable energy. Think protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs. That product launch story I told you, the change for me was swapping those stale donuts for almonds and an apple. The change in my mental clarity, I'm going to tell you after a few days, was very dramatic. And third take, novelty snacks. This one might surprise you, my friend. It reminds me of a summer job that I had in college. I was working in a factory, and my job for 8 hours a day was to put mechanical pencils into plastic blister packs. Needless to say, I probably lasted 2 weeks before I was canned. I was so unbelievably bored that I started just walking around the factory floor talking to the regulars who'd been there. These are people that have been there for years. I mean, I remember asking one of them, "Don't you get drained? Doesn't your brain just shut off just stuffing those, packs all day long?" She just kind of shrugged, and that feeling stuck with me. From a neuroscience standpoint, the human brain is wired for novelties. So monotony, well, that is draining. When our content feels dry, we lose interest. And the same is true for our lives. That feeling I had in the factory, that wasn't just physical fatigue, it was mental fatigue. My brain was starved for anything new. And number 4, this is the most important one, and I saved it for last. Practice active shutdowns, not passive scrolling, okay? When we feel tired, what do? We rest by pulling out our phones and scrolling, right? But I'll tell you right now, my friend, that's not real rest. It's just low-grade work for your brain. Your brain can't clear out the fog and consolidate information if you are constantly giving it new and often negative input. This is part of that cognitive toll it takes on you. And the fix is, do an active shutdown. For 5 minutes, my friend, just sit and stare out the window. No phone, no podcast, no input. Let your brain be bored. This is when your default mode network basically activates and does its cleanup work. It's the equivalent of your brain's defrag cycle. So you see, brain fog isn't a life sentence. It's just a check engine light, if you will. When you see it, don't just step on the gas and go faster. Stop and check the fuel. By managing your decisions, fueling your brain properly, seeking novelty, and learning to truly rest, you move from being a passive victim of the fog to being the active architect of your own mental clarity. You become an empowered thinker. This is the first step to building a more resilient mind. So if you're ready to keep learning how to protect your focus and think sharper in a world that's designed to confuse you, and you want to basically learn from someone who knows the playbook, make sure you subscribe. And now I want to hear from you. What's the one thing that triggers your brain fog the most? And which one of these 4 strategies will you try this week? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I'm Stafford. I want to thank you for thinking with me today. We'll see you in the next video.